President Joe Biden has said that he is going to stand down from the presidential race.
An ABC News special report, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump.
I want justice for my baby.
Yeah.
These actions have trampled on international law and on basic human values.
That another teenager has lost their lives to violence on the streets of London.
And begin. I just broke my camera, I think. Overwhelmed and overstimulated. Hey guys, how are you this week? Good, I hope. I am a little bit overstimulated this week, hence the title of the video. I think there's been a lot going on just like globally and in our surrounding world, and I'm finding ways to overcome that. But since I'm going through it, I thought let's have a conversation about it. As I said, this week has been a lot, with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump and then Biden dropping out. And I'm not even American, like I'm British. We've got our own politics and our own issues going on here, which has also been overwhelming. There's been a bit of violence in the streets of London as always. And of course, the absolutely heartbreaking and devastating news of Sonia Maisie. The news has been really, really heavy over the past couple of weeks. And whilst I don't heavily engage with the news, because it's usually very, very negative all the time, obviously you have to stay informed. And obviously there's trending stories that are going around, particularly because the US and the UK have their election years in the same year. It's always just a lot, and it's a lot of foolishness. And I just feel like the reason why it gets to me so much is because it's very obvious that government don't really care about us. I don't want to get into too much politics, but that's very obvious. And the only real way for us to save ourselves is to save each other, is to be a part of a community, is to look out for our community and individuals within that. But we don't. So that's why I'm feeling a little bit overstimulated. But outside of the world of politics and news and all that stuff, I've just been assessing kind of my life. Obviously, if you see my other videos, I'm definitely in a season of change. So I've just been assessing kind of a lot of the content that I take in, a lot of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. There is a lot going on all the time. Something that's really stuck out to me is all the advertising. Now, I used to work in advertising, but I know how advertising works. I know the psychology of it. I know why they do it, how they do it. But recently, what I have been finding offensive is that, you know, we're told so much to create our social media platforms and our feeds in a way that makes us feel good and doesn't make us feel bad. So it's like, yep, we do that, perfect. But then every 3 scrolls or every video we watch, there's like 10 different ads in it, and mine might be the same. I'm not in control of how many ads YouTube put on my videos, but there's always someone trying to sell something to us. No matter how much we try to create our media and what we intake, we can't be in control of everything. At the moment, I kind of feel that media is really dystopian. Everything looks like a TikTok ad or a TikTok video with influencers. It's meant to be very like low quality, sometimes even that using that robotic narrator voice to help push their product. And I'm like, even when you're trying to sell me something, you can't even do that in a human way. You can't even be creative with that. You're just following TikTok trends. It feels like we're cogs in a machine, constantly doing the same thing day in and day out, seeing the same things. Even when, you know, we try to direct our attention to something else, those same kind of advertisements, influencers, trends creep in, because the way the algorithm's created now, that's what's popping, and that's what brands and advertisers feel that everybody wants to see. So that's what we're going to see, whether we like it or not. I'm a millennial, so I'm old, but it's too much for me. I was watching quite a good video about the breakdown of how kind of dopamine works and how we get it through different activities and what could be considered good dopamine and bad dopamine. And one thing that it mentioned was having a digital detox. Now, I quite often do digital detoxes, and if you speak to my friends, they'll even tell you I'm not really like active on social media. When you message me, it's going to take me a while to message back, just because I don't like the feeling of always having to be available. Let me drink my wine, it's just been sitting here. I feel like if someone really needs me, it's like, yeah, let me know and I'll be there. I'll pick up the phone or whatever. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm doing stuff, and I love that I have friends. I love to socialize with my friends and speak with my friends on the phone, obviously, of course, but I'm just not available all the time. I don't want to feel beholden to my phone or to my messages, you know. I'm quite good with I feel like I'm quite good with having control over how much I intake in terms of social media and always being constantly on within a digital aspect. However, even with being quite strict with myself when it comes to that, I do fall prey to the doom scroll, which I think we all do. When you sit down, you scroll, you look at one thing, you end up looking at something else. The algorithm's talking your language, so you just keep going and going. And before you know it, an hour's passed, you're like, what the fuck, I had stuff to do. So I've tried to be strict with myself and combat that by just having a phone-free day on Sundays. And that's the day where I tend to like do a lot of my meditations. I tend to reset. I'm trying to learn the guitar, so that's my day. I'm like, cool, I don't actually need to have my phone because I'm learning something new. Making my resin diaries that I sell on alwaysdaydreaming.org. Drop the advert. I know we're overstimulated, but drop the advert. This video is brought to you by me and my little baby, alwaysdaydreaming.org. If you don't know by now, I'm super passionate about manifestation and creating the life of my dreams, and I want to help you guys do the same as well. So I created a store that sells crystal encrusted journals, candles and jewelry to help you with all of your manifestation needs. Check out alwaysdaydreaming.org for the full collection. Now back to the video. With that being said, if you are trying to elevate your mindset, your frequency, your life in general, and this might be something that's controversial to some, but whilst it is important to a degree to remain informed about what's going on around you, because we do live in this world, we do live in this reality. When you're trying to elevate, it's difficult for you to live in the old whilst also trying to live in the new. And when you're at the beginning of that journey, I've learned that in some instances, it is important to disconnect from a lot of the noise. When you try to have a goal and you have something that you're working towards, and that goal doesn't have to be career or anything financially orientated. As I said, it can just be your mindset. When you have a goal to elevate, you can't stay in the old world and the old way of thinking. I mentioned it in my previous video, but we live in a 3D reality, obviously. When you're looking at raising your frequency and your vibrations, you want to raise to 4D to 5D. You can't do that while still being stuck in 3D. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that that means you're better than anybody else, that you don't care about anybody else, you don't care about the atrocious things that are happening in the world. That's not the case. What it means is that you have to find a way to vibrate higher and vibrate above all the ball that's going on. If you can help, then you help. Whether it's giving information, whether it's financially, whether it's giving advice, do that to help more people come out of that low vibrational state, but you don't live there anymore. And when it comes to politics and to voting, I vote. I think it's important to have your voice heard. But with that being said, I don't have faith in the system, if I'm being honest with you. I vote because I feel like it's something that I should do. But what I know the real change will come from is the actions that I make, is the good that I put back into society and into my community. So I just wanted to throw that out there for those who are feeling a bit overstimulated. It's okay to disconnect from the noise that's happening. I know sometimes we feel like we have to be involved and we feel like we have to be militant and we feel like we have to protest. And I've done all those things, but I don't live in that space anymore. I definitely used to, and I remember a time when I was just living, I was like super angry. But within that, I always had a lot of hope, and I had a lot of hope for the world and for people, and then I lost that hope, and that was a time. And now I realize that I don't necessarily have to control anything. I don't have to control what's going on in the world. What I have to control is how I respond to things and how I move within the world. And hopefully the impact that I can have is being a positive influence and a positive force, and just hopefully that's a ripple effect. And I'm not saying just being like toxically positive. You have to live in reality sometimes. But yeah, overall, just trying to do better and hoping that doing better affects someone else, and that affects somebody else, and that affects somebody else. And then, I don't know, it's like a good virus, you know? Another thing that I found really effective when trying to overcome overstimulation is to go out into nature. It sounds really simple and really basic, but between everything we have going on in our lives, I know a lot of people my age don't go into nature. You know, the most contact they have with nature is maybe like walking through a park to get to work, but actually sitting down in nature and appreciating kind of the small things around you, the animals, the insects. It sounds very like la-di-da and airy-fairy, but sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to frolic. The other day I went to the park and I was just hanging out, looking at some deers. I was scared as hell. I don't know why. I do know why. The deers looked violent. Yeah, sometimes you just need to like get into nature and frolic a bit and just like run around. Being an adult, I sometimes think we don't leave much room for fun. And when we do have fun, sometimes it's revolved around drinking or spending money, doing a task or a hobby where it's about competition. That's all good. Do what you do. Get your rocks off, however you get your rocks off. That's all good. But sometimes it's like the simple things, being in nature, just hearing the sounds of nature, observing it, realizing there's more out there, there's something bigger out there just beyond us and the politics that are happening. Like, the world is moving, whether we have a president or a prime minister or not. The world and Mother Nature is still going to do her thing. So if you are feeling overstimulated, where you can, go out into nature and spend, I would say, at least like half an hour just sitting down. Or if you want to have a walk, just have a walk. And having headphones on and listening to like affirmations and all that stuff, that's great. But sometimes just take them out and listen to your environment. I promise you it will make all the difference. There's been so much going on lately. I felt like this was the message that I wanted to give. And I hope no one's offended by me saying to disconnect from a lot of the drama going on at the moment in the news and politics. But some people need to. Some people need it so they can get their mind right and then get back on the game. So I hope this video reaches who it needs to reach. Don't feel bad for taking some time out for yourself. And I will catch you again on another one, maybe on Sunday. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. Love ya. Bye.